about what I feel is the best and easiest way to use Dotloop. And we're not really, look, we're not going to have the opportunity to really, I know that there's a lot of forms, but we're not going to be talking about eliminating forms or doing stuff like that, okay? Because they are the required forms for either for legal reasons, compliance reasons, or our own personal company reasons. So my apologies right off the bat for all the forms, but they are there, they do exist, and we're not changing that today. You can talk to your personal manager if you have some issues with that, but today we are just clearly talking about a process that I feel really helps expedite Dotloop. All right. So everyone can see my Dotloop screen, and I am going to start. And I want you to really pay attention to the process because I feel this process has made it easier. I had some agents in my office, in one of my offices, that never ever used Dotloop, hated Dotloop. I sat down with them and I went through this process with them. And although, it is time consuming, no matter what software you're using, it is easy to use if you follow the steps. Okay. So this is what I suggest. People can do it a different way if they want to, but this has been a successful way of handling it for my offices. So you're going to go to add a loop, and I am going to pretend that I'm getting a listing at 123. Oops, one. It's not, is it? Yeah. 123 Main Street in Rockaway. Now, first off the bat, do not populate anything that is below the bar that's popping up. You can see 123 Main Street, East Rockaway, New York, 123 Main Street, Rockaway, New Jersey. We're still not going to use that. We are not going to populate from that list at all, okay? We're just going to finish New Jersey, and we're going to finish that because that's what we want to use. And then, okay, now I have to move this screen again. Hang on one second, folks. I'm going to hit the continue button, okay? From the loop templates, I am going to pick my most common loop template that I would use for a listing is the NJMLS listing loop. And I'm going to hit continue. And now, just for the record, the NJMLS and the Garden State MLS, who I think are our primary users in this area, we do have some Monmouth County people on, do not require you send in the listing documents to them unless it is a coming soon or a delayed showing listing. So I don't even upload a photo on the loops, okay? If you get really good at this and you can do that, then you go ahead and you can upload your photo on there if that's what you want to see when you open your loop. And then I hit done, and it's creating the loop. Now, you want to create your loop in that manner. You do not want to create your loop by adding forms to the loop, because that's how you start to lose track of what should be in the loop and what is required and not required. You go to view loop, and first off the bat, you can see everything on the right-hand side that is required is listed in red. So when you're doing this, that means all of those documents need to be completed. The second step in this is you're going to add your people before you do anything else, right? So I'm going to add a person. I'm going to add my husband. Didn't know he was buying 123 Main Street today. And I am going to make him the buyer, or he's listing it. Let's put it that way. He's going to be the seller. I'm sorry, I'm doing a listing loop. And the address, I'm going to put that in here, 123 Main Street, Rockaway, New Jersey. And I am going to hit add person. Once I've added him as the seller, your next step is, in this situation with the listing, to change yourself right here from none to the listing agent. If you were doing a contract, then you're going to make yourself the buying agent. Okay. So that is done, right? So the next step I want to do is I want to go to the biggest document. And then I'm going to go in order of the rest of the documents, okay? But I'm going to do the biggest document first because that requires the most fields, which simplifies your job later, right? When you get rid of that biggest document first. So that would be the listing agreement. Now, when this opens up, it's going to ask me for some information. And I want to fill in, see, it already has Joseph as the seller, has Francis as the listing agent, and the property address is, I'm going to put it in here again. I think it will auto populate if you just start typing it up above, but I always type it in just because it's a habit that I have. So bear with me. Okay. Then down below, it has my name as the listing agent with my MLS ID number. Occupancy date, we're going to say 30, or let's see, we can put November 11th. That sounds like a good date to me. Here we go. We have this, the seller is Joseph. The listing information, the listing expiration date, let's say I'm going to put it for January 10th, 2027. The listing date will be today's date, August 4th, 2026. And the original list price is going to be $600,000. The property includes the refrigerator, washer, and dryer. Excludes owner's personality. There we go. Okay. The lot is lot 10. The block would be block 20.5. The property has 4 bedrooms. It's 3,000 square feet and it has 3 bathrooms. And I hit continue or autofill. So now when I come up to the listing, there are some things that I need to finish filling out if they're not filled out, right? So this is, and you can just go up here. The county is Morris, okay? And the owner's phone number, you could fill that in. I don't personally put the owner's phone number on the listings, to be honest with you. And I know Garden State, you have to exclude that. The number of rooms, let's say, is 10 rooms. And the listing broker ID, oh, I think Franklin Links is, because I'm using, my number is, Franklin Links number is 2806. I'm not sure about that, but anyway, you could fill that in. If there's solar, no. And approximate square footage, the style is a colonial. And then you're going to go down to the other important information in here, which is you could write your description in here now. If your manager requires that they want to read what you're going to write in the customer remarks, or you could put in here what the showing instructions will be. And we're going to make this easy today. Use showing time. And it's a beautiful colonial situated. We got to be careful about what they say, what you say. Situated on a cul-de-sac. And we're not going to go any further than that, right? So it is filled in the listing date for me, the expiration date, the listing price. It has also filled in, we have to do the compensation, okay? So the compensation is going to be 8%, and I am going to be the seller's agent and disclose dual agent if the opportunity arises. And then you can go right here, right now. It's designated the space for Joseph to sign. Property address will appear on the websites, okay? And I'm going to sign this. And the reason why I sign it is, unless you're sure you're getting the listing, you don't want anybody else printing or using your listing document, right? Now you're doing all this work. So I sign it. And then on the Attorney General's memorandum, which is attached to this, you have to sign, right? Now, the Garden State MLS users, you have the listing agreement separate. And then, so you do have a place on here as a listing agent to sign, and I'm going to hit save. I'm not sending any documents until I complete everything, because they do need to complete everything for you to have your manager sign it and review the file, right? Would you like to share it? No. The next document that I'm going to do is going to be for the New Jersey MLS, because the co-broke amount is not in the listing agreement like it is in Garden State. The New Jersey Real Estate Commission addendum is here. And as soon as it opens, it's going to ask me, do I want to autofill? Yes, I want to autofill. It'll put in all this information for me. And it doesn't have the MLS number yet, because that you're not going to have until the end. And then I want to go down here and I'm going to put the commission split of 4% minus 295. Okay. And I'm going to sign it as the listing agent, and I am going to save it. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the top of the list of the document, and the documents that need to go out to the seller. Now, the tracking form is required, but you don't have to do that right this second. I'm going to do the CIS. So each one I open, and then I hit autofill, okay? And then I hit save. I don't really need to check it, but it has inserted, I'm going to show you, it has inserted my information, because you don't need to go in and check. It's there, okay? There, it's put Francis Blakely of Remax Select and Joseph sign here, okay? And I'm going to save it. I only looked at it because I wanted to show you that it's in there, right? Now, there are some documents that require filling by the seller. So I'm going to suggest to you that when you're all finished with all these documents, and I'm not going to do a whole file, like I'll hit CIS and all the required documents, and I'm going to hit share. And the only ones I won't share right off the bat are the seller's disclosure and the ARW warranty, because they require the seller to complete parts of it, right? And so I don't want to send that out with a fill and sign part. I'm going to show you what I mean. So here, I'm going to just check off all the documents, right? And then I hit take off the tracking form, and I would remove any documents that are not required. You can do the one check mark at the top. And I'm going to remove the seller's disclosure and the ARW, and I'm going to hit share. And then these are going out to can sign. Over here, it says can sign, right? So I'm going to hit the share button. I could type a little note in there, right? But for this situation, it comes back and you'll get an acknowledge on the top. These documents have been shared and waiting for others. Now, when it comes to, I'm going to uncheck all these documents now. And I'm just going to check the seller's disclosure and the ARW enrollment form. And I'm going to hit share. Now, the reason I send them out separately is the other documents are the listing documents. So it's good to get those back before the seller gets overwhelmed with filling out the seller's disclosure or anything else, right? The seller's disclosure could take them time. And when you do that, the prompt that you're sending them has to say, you have to change this over here where it was just sign, can fill in sign. And then you have to share. You could type a little note in here. Attached is the seller's and ARW home warranty. Please complete these documents online, or if you prefer, I can print and sent to you separately. However, it is an easy process. On the ARW warranty, please select decline or accept and sign. Thank you. And then I'm going to send that out to them. So I do that separately because I don't want to make the listing documents where they can fill anything in. Like I don't want them to touch those listing documents. Okay. So now if you just give me 1 second, I'm going to stop sharing this screen and I'm going to hopefully be able to see you, right? Okay, there you are. I see you. I'm going to go and now I'm going to share a different screen, which is really, whoops, I got to open that first. Hang on a second. Right, I don't know if you can see the screen. No, you can't see it yet. Hold on, let me say share. And this is what I'm trying to share. Okay, so on this screen, it just is like a very short little recap of what I just did. Simplify the procedure and remember, required documents are required. Create your loop. Do not pick the address if it appears below that what you have entered. Create your people. Change your status to listing agent or buyer's agent. Do the largest form first and complete as much as you can when the prompt comes up. Then I can't see I'm on then autofill, right? The next one is complete all other required documents, send to the client for signature. I would suggest you send all documents for signature first and then send the seller's disclosure and ARW warranty, which requires responses separately. The most important documents are the listing documents and the others need execution and completion, so send those in one attachment. Once your listings are signed, the manager should be notified to review and sign immediately. Then your listing can go into the appropriate MLS. Okay, if you're experiencing an issue with a form in Dotloop, please notify your manager and then they will reach out to me. Okay, now I'm going to stop sharing that so I can see everybody because now I can see everybody. So it's like,
Hey, friend, there's actually several questions that maybe
okay, go ahead.
I tried to answer some of them. In the GSMLS loop, they still have the all required form. Is that correct?
They have what? I'm sorry.
The GSMLS listing loop, it has the same required forms.
The only form that's different in there is the addendum. The NJMLS commission split addendum is not in there because it is contained within the Garden State listing form.
Perfect. Also, Michelle had said something like, is it better to create it in the MLS? That way the loop, when they put in the MLS number in there, it'll, populate as long as it's not published before all the documents are signed.
Well, the problem with doing that, like I said, you can do it that way if you want, then you have to download the PDF and add it to the loop. However, all the other documents in .loop still need to be auto-filled, and by doing the listing in the NJMLS, it takes care of most of the information that you need in all the other documents. So that's the only thing I can say. You could do it that way if you want. But don't create the loop piece by piece, right? That's a big mistake because then you're not going to have the required documents in there.
And also Gail had said, can't you just open all at once? I guess when you're doing the documents.
Can you open all the documents at once?
To fill them out all at once.
They have to be done one at a time. Okay. As far as, and this goes with all the loops. Now we are working on, for anyone that's out there that does commercial, we are working on finishing. We're going to be splitting the commercial loop into the commercial seller landlord loop and the commercial buyer tenant loop because they need to be in two separate loops because there's different documents that are similar documents are required, but we want to make sure that they're easily accessible and easy to follow. So a lot of this, sometimes your Dotloop will go out. Sometimes it's Dotloop itself is doing an update and then we lose the information. like it's kind of like it doesn't do something, just let your manager know, and then they'll reach out to me to let me know. Okay. We really want to try and follow a process here. We don't want people, reaching out into like some agents that have been with us a long time. They've been used to reaching out to like Fred or whatever. You can't do that anymore. He's very, very busy with all the offices. So we're here to make sure it gets taken care of. And we want to make sure that things are working smoothly for you, but sometimes they require, some help. If you're missing something, two things have happened. You have created your own loop, or um, uh, we were having trouble a long time ago with documents disappearing from Dotloop, but knock wood, we haven't had that trouble lately. So, I'm kind of feel like I'm like handicapped this morning because I'm working on a very tiny 10-inch computer because my Wi-Fi is out. So I wanted to like see everybody, but I can't do that right now. It's like hard. But if you have any questions, please reach out to your manager, and then they will get back to me.
Fran, I do
Okay.
want to make a comment. I think this is kind of common for agents that have done business for a long time and they have the same clients over and over again. So what I've seen, agents do, they just kind of make a copy of the whole loop and just changed whatever, information. And I would say like, I understand that costs, I mean, that saves time. And if it's in this very similar time frame, like let's say, the listing got withdrawn or and it was in the same time frame of maybe like 6 months or something like that, then you're not really in danger of using old forms. But if it's been like a year or two, because things forms are changing and our new loop, that like the loops that you use have the most updated forms. But if you're copying from a previous loop, then all you will see older forms and you're just like copying, like you're just changing the information, but sometimes the new forms are not updated. Is that correct, Fran?
Yeah, we are constantly evolving, and the forms from New Jersey realtors, although they take a few days to update, they also update automatically into our loop. So that's one of the things about using old loops. You may have old documents. Like for example, I just had a buyer, the very first house I sold them, the very first buyer's agency agreement. I saved that buyer agency agreement, and I of course made 4 or 5 offers, right? And I used that buyer agency agreement over and over, but I didn't use the same loop because it's a lot of changing addresses and stuff like that. You're better off just starting it over, right? So I was able to use the buyer, so I didn't have to have them execute a new buyer's agency agreement. I had one that covered New Jersey, and that was good. You can use the tracking form if you want to start. That's up to you. We don't have the attorney's information off the bat. We don't sometimes have who's purchasing the property. You can fill it out. That's up to you. If you want to autofill that right from the beginning, you can do that. That's fine. But the seller or the buyer doesn't need that tracking form. Okay.
Fran, question,
Okay.
hon.
1 minute. Go ahead, Gail.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Just, I always have a lot of questions, but quick question. When, let's say you have your own listing and it's a disclosed deal, you have both ends. Should you create a separate loop? Should you put it in the same loop?
I do a separate loop, and then at the end I add the documents. You can either tell the admin it's in 2 loops, or you can add the loops, because if you start adding all the other buyer documents that are required to the loop, then you're gonna miss something, right? You might as well just create the loop. That's my opinion. But if you can do it flawlessly, then you could do it.
And then another question is, when do you send it for review? Most importantly, I'm always in danger of missing something, or
So
when's
I'll tell
the
you
best
this.
time to do that?
I tell my agents, once they create the a listing loop, I tell them to ask the admin to check the file to make sure everything is good. Okay. Because I'm just going in, when I sign, I'm just, as the manager, I'm just signing the listing agreement, and and the addendum, if I need to sign that for NJMLS. They need to just tell the admin, look, I just created this loop. Can you go in and check it? Make sure I have everything. So then you know your listing part is good. And then if you sell it or when it's getting ready to close, I would say 7 to 10 days ahead of time, make sure you have everything, because you know how hard it is to chase after documents after a closing. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's not easy.
And what about hand fill? Like you know, a lot of senior citizens are not tech savvy. They don't know how to do Dotloop. They don't know how to e-sign. So you
that's
meet
okay.
in person, and then you upload your items, and then you go to have it for review, and it comes back and says, well, I need, you know, the seller disclosure, or I need the contract, and it's already there already.
So your admin will hopefully be able to show you, or can split a file. You can split a document. So once you scan it in, you have the ability to split the document and name into 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts, 5 parts, right? So if you're scanning all the documents together, your admin, you can ask them to show you how to split the document. And then you just go through and you put the consumer information statement. So page 1 and 1, page 2 and 2. Sometimes I have to do it like in 3 different shots, because if you're scanning 20 pages, you don't want to mess it up, because then you got to start all over again. But
Right,
you have
but
the ability to split the documents and name them in the loop. But your admin should be able to help you work through that.
Right. Like I'm trying to send one now, and I keep saying, well, I need the contract. Well, the contract's already been fully executed. So where do I put it in that required line item? It says required. I mean, it's already done and it's already uploaded, but it's not in the let's say item, you know, line item number 3 where it says, you know, required.
No, they can move the documents around where they need them, but I would change the name of the document to fully executed contract. Maybe they're missing it for some reason. And you
Yeah,
can
but you
change
can't
the name
replace that, right, Fran? You can't, like, I can't scroll that down and put it in that line. I can't do that.
You can, but they can also organize that for you.
Okay.
If you need them to. But if it's in there, I would just rename the document to fully executed contract.
Okay.
And then, you know, open it up and make sure it's the right one. And then it's there. They can move the document around in the file. You shouldn't have to do that. You just need to make sure all the documents are there.
Okay. Thank you, Fran.
I have a question.
Okay, everybody, it's like a few minutes
Fran.
after. So thank you
Oh,
for
that was
joining.
fast.
I have a question.
Huh?
Fran, I have a question.
Yeah. You got to just speak up a little bit, because this computer, the speaker's on the bottom of it. I'm having a hard time hearing all of you.
No worries. So have there been any conversations regarding simplifying this system for us agents on a often basis, because we need to simplify it, in my opinion, as much as possible. So are there steps being taken to maybe see other ways of doing stuff that simplifies it for everybody?
I still can't hear you, Ezequiel. I'm so sorry.
Sure. You know what? I'm gonna write it in the text.
Well, he was
Okay, send
saying
it to me in a
how,
text.
yeah.
Yeah. That
He
would
was
be
saying if
fine.
there are
I
ways
just,
to simplify, especially I think when there's dual and things like that, there's multiple.
yeah. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Have a
Thanks,
good
Fran.
day.
Bye.
Thanks.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye.
hon.
Thank you very much.
Bye. You're welcome.